Again, my name is Gene Wing, Grants Coordinator, but Diana Holmes is the co-chair for that and also the foundation chair. And so any questions you may have about district grants, you can always contact her. This session is to be kind of a quick overview. Going to provide you some tools to use when your club applies for district grants. District grants, they offer clubs flexibility in carrying out activities that support the foundation's mission. District grants for your clubs, they fund smaller, short-term activities that address the needs in both your local community and communities worldwide. Each district gets to choose the activities it'll fund with these grants. And for example, in the past, our district chose to use its fund on literacy projects, hunger projects, maintaining parks and upgrades of different parks and things that a club may have. And but it usually focuses around some type of humanitarian type benefit. With DACdb access, that's kind of the starting point in the grant process. And what I'm going over now is just kind of general conversation about the grant process. And after this, we'll get into the actual nut and bolts of walking through how to actually apply for grants. But as I said, DACdb access is the starting point for all the grant process. Once you're in DACdb, you'll be able to manage the entire life cycle of the district grants, being able to prepare your club grants applications, be able to submit the grant supporting documents, and be able to maintain the status of your grants from the application process from when you actually apply through the approval and final reports. At the very end, after your project has been completed, you're required to file a final report, and we'll get into that of all the things that you'll need to have in that to finalize the project. And really the process for the district grants really starts when the district is notified of the DDF funds that the district is receiving, the district designated funds for the upcoming organization year. And for example, this year, the 2016-17, we had available like $41,653 available for the 40 clubs to request district grant funds. And for this particular year, we utilized just about all of those funds and granted out the money. We granted out like $41,538, and that was less than $100 left, or right at $100 left that wasn't distributed, and that will be used to pay some of the administrative costs that the district will incur granting out these funds. The clubs, you can apply for the grants, and they'll get half of what they're up to a half, I should say, not half, but up to a half of their budgeted cost for that project. The district will fund up to a half, and possibly there are other organizations that the club may find that could help fund that particular project, but the district will fund up to a half of the total budgeted cost of the project. You know, for a simple example is that if your total project is for $2,000, naturally the district will fund up to $1,000 of that $2,000 project. And one of the things to remember that is very important, if a club has a outstanding grant where they have not submitted their final report from any previous year, they will not be eligible to receive a grant from this current the 17-18 year, Nancy's year. So, you know, all of the final reports from all of the previous years have to be submitted and approved by the district before they'll be eligible for any funds for the 2017-18 year. The final reports for the 2017 2016-17 year are due no later than August 31st of 2017. And so as soon as clubs are completing their projects, they need to start preparing their final reports and submitting to the district, but they need to have them submitted by August 31st of 2017. And when Nancy starts her year beginning the July 1, she has opened up a grant application date from that July 1 of 2017 and will close out on August 31st of 2017. So you've got just about a 2-month window there to come up with the projects that you're going to come with and submit your grant to help fund those particular projects that you may have for the upcoming Rotary year. Another thing that needs to be remembered is that each club has to be club certified, and club certification is showing that you have attended a seminar that discusses the Rotary Foundation and the district grant program, and those meetings that to be able to attend that to get certified will be they'll have sessions at PETS, and also they'll usually have 4 seminars in August throughout the district for each club to come in and get certified. And usually that's 2 Rotarians from each of your clubs, you maybe the club president or the foundation chair. And once they have attended those seminars, then they will be club certified by signing a memorandum of understanding saying that they have attended the seminars and that they understand the process of going through the grant process.
Jean, I'll add to that that yes, presidents-elects will be certified at PET, and then the second certification will happen in August at the summer seminars.
Okay. Thank you. And after all closing date of the grant that are all the clips in their final reports, then the grant review committee will meet sometime in mid-September or so to review all of the grants and come up with the ones that meet the district criteria in the grants, and then approve those, and then come up with the allocation of how much each club may receive. You know, usually in the past, what has happened is that we've gotten 2 times or 2.5 times more requests than what we had money available. We've had to go through and cull through those to make sure that all of the requests meet the district criteria and Rotary International's criteria for grants, and then come back and allocate the available funds to the different clubs based on their request. And sometimes they've got a pretty good rhyme and reason how they do the allocation, but it's just kind of left up year to year to review those applications to see how they're going to distribute those funds. Okay, that's really the kind of the general information about the program. All right, then next thing that we'll do, we'll kind of take a step-by-step of how to actually apply for grants. And up on my screen, I guess everyone can see the Rotary web page, and you see where it goes. And where each member, you just log in. Once you get into DACdb, you'll see on this tab here, that's what you're gonna hit to open up. And this, even though it shows 2016, when Nancy year begins, it'll be the 17-18 year, so you'll be good to go there. All right, and then if I'm going too fast with you, but down to this left menu over here where it says help, once you get into there, if you'll click on that and go down to where it says club documentation, and you'll see here that is that grant module. That's the actual training module that tells you everything that you need to know about grants, and we'll scroll down to show you what's in the table of contents. It's, you know, tells you a little bit about the grants, some details, the contacts, the application, and how to figure out your budget. and it's a large manual, but if you get lost and not sure what all you may need to do in the application process, then you can go back to this manual to find hopefully your answer. And then we're actually going to start in here. Once you hit that grants tab, you'll come back over here to the tab here and hit club grants. And this won't show anything for your year because you hadn't applied for any grants, but I had to go back to this year to for example, to show you this. But this would be blank when you go in to start your application, and you'll go over to this yellow highlighted tab here, and it says New Club Grant Request. Click here to create a grant. You hit that, and it'll have 3 tabs here in which you'll need to fill out the general information about your grants. It gives the details with the name, the organization, and the most important part is this project description. And I'll go back late in a minute to show you some of the things that were said from one of our club's projects. And then you'll go down and scroll over, which club that you're from. And then the contact, the same here is the people that are in your club that you want to receive email, and who are going to be kind of the keepers of the grant, who's going to be needs to know about all the activities that you may have with the district and within your club. You just pull over their name, which is very easy. I'm sure most of y'all already know how to do this, but it's just very simple to do. Okay, once you've done your contacts, then you're actually going to do the application here. And these are the type of things. It's fairly simple. It's not too difficult to complete this part. The hardest part is maybe getting down into the meat of this, where you talk about the project definitions, how it's going to relate, how your project is going to relate to the mission of the Rotary Foundation, the humanitarian efforts, how this is going to benefit the community and improve the lives of the less fortunate served. Here is an important part, is because you need to describe the number of Rotarians in your club, how they're going to participate in carrying on this project, whether it be from the organization or actually working and working the project, or going out and soliciting volunteers from other clubs or what, but just showing how the involvement of the various Rotarians with your project. And then you'll have to come up with this publicity plan. You'll just, it's a brief statement of how you're going to get the general public aware of your club's particular project and how it can benefit, them or the general public. That will be all that you have, those 3. And once you get all the information covered in these 3 tabs here, you'll go over here and hit save. And when you do that, it'll open up additional tabs here, and it gives you an area that you actually do the budget. You'll put in the income items, the amount that you're DDF funds that you're requesting, and down here the other funds, whether it be from your clubs or maybe from some other civic organization to help fund this. But you'll be putting all that information for the total income that'll be received. And then you'll also go back through this expense items. Once you get in there and add expenses, you can upload invoices or give the name, the description of the expense that you've got and the amount, and then add that to this list. And then once all this has been completed, at the end, it'll be an ongoing process here, but it'll give you a budget summary, and it'll tell you whether or not you're on budget or over budgeted or under budgeted at the time, and hopefully you'll be right on target with that. And under this document tab, it will allow you to upload those invoices that would, or any other documents where you've got the actual, you can upload the application, or you can upload invoices or in pictures that you may want to include in there. Just hit the upload file and it'll take you back to your browser where you can load in the folders that you want to include in this document in the image area, and it'll stay there once you save it. After you've entered all the data, then you hit save, and you'll be through there. And what I want to do here is kind of show you a little bit about our club. I'm going to go back a year here because we haven't completed all of our projects, but this will give you a little idea of what we did in the year before that. So once you get back to this page and you see, you start completing your project and save it and submit it, it'll come up here. And for example, like this on our Healthy Smiles project, here are the details of it completed from what you saw earlier, well, from the blank pages. And then here it gives the detailed explanations of what your description of your project. And you need to try to make that as detailed as you possibly can, because when the grant review team reviews these grants to determine whether or not they're going to be approved and how much, you know, the more detail that you can get and more clarification as far as what your project's about, you know, it always increases your probability that your project will get approved. So keep that in mind, and then you move over to click over your club name there. This contact tab, it's all the people that you want email sent to that are really in control of your project that needs to see correspondence from the project. And you just drag and pull over, or click and pull over. The application, here again, we showed that earlier. It's pretty straightforward as far as what you put in each one of these blocks, but there's four categories in which you need to complete. And then the next tab, budget, we went over that before, but this kind of gives you the look, and DDF matched our request, and so it was $700. And then we had expenses where we bought the books, and this is really two projects. We had the literacy project and Healthy Smiles. And so as you can see, you know, we lived within our budget where we just overspent like $21.39, which the club could afford to make up that difference. Documents, we showed there how you upload those files earlier, and this particular one is an invoice that we got on the Healthy Smiles from Barnes & Noble. And this is the invoice that we uploaded, and it just shows that the amount of the invoice. And you'll have to upload an invoice and or a copy of your canceled check that your club may have written to pay this invoice. So that's something where we'll be looking to see that documentation that you actually spent the grant money and where it went. All right. And then the next tab that we got here is the activity log. And any member of your club that has done any type of activity with the grant, your club grant, it'll have a documentation of a log of everybody that has accessed it and what they have done, you know, as far as with the grant. It'll be a signature page right at the end where it tells you when you actually, in that actual application, then it'll show up here who actually signed the grants from your club. These two items, halfway through your project's life, you'll file this interim report, and it basically has the same information as your final report that talks about the project description, how many people that it benefited and who were the beneficiaries and how many Rotarians participated and what did they do, and incorporating organizations that were involved.
Gene, do we require interim reports?
Some years we have, and some years we haven't. It's just kind of left up to the district grant committee. They do that to make sure that the clubs are starting and will have time to complete that project for the year end. It just kind of gives them a snapshot that, hey, they are doing something, and hopefully they'll have it finished by the end of the year. That's kind of left up to I guess the district grant committee that whether they actually do the interim report. And like I said, I've seen in some years they have, and some years they haven't. When you complete the project, you probably need to start working on your final report then, and not wait to just turn it in by the final due date timeline of August 31st. That way it won't crimp the review, trying to review all of them all at the same time, and it'll help them out, and it gives them a better snapshot, and they can think about and look at the project to see how worthy and make sure all the things have been included to close out the project from the district standpoint. So, and
I would add that that's particularly important if you're going to submit a grant for a continuing project.
Yes.
The earlier you get it in, the better, so that the committee has plenty of time to review it before they make the allocation for the following year.
Right. And you got to have that final report in before the next year's grant funds be issued. So, that's always an enticement there to get that in timely so that you'll be eligible for the next cycle's grant funds. Okay, and then once you have completed all of these at the end of your project, then you'll hit save the grant, and all of this will be in DACdb so that you can go back and review and look at in subsequent years, go back to see how you did things. Basically, that is the process and how to complete the application. That's really all that I had.
Gene, would you address the grant start date in relation to funding?
Usually the grant applications, once they are received, starting at that time and closing out, after they are reviewed and approved, then which will be sometime probably the mid to end of October, that the clubs are supposed to start their project. They're not supposed to start the project prior to the approval of the grant. We had some of those happen in years past, and it was kind of a no-no, and they were kind of reprimanded because, it's possible the grants may not get approved, and there you are already starting the project, and if a small, especially smaller clubs, if they don't have the funds to pay for the whole project, then they may have to stop the project or scale it down to what they can afford. So it is important that you wait until the grant have been approved, and the club should get notified of that sometime by the end of October, no later than mid-November. And those checks should be written and sent to the clubs about the same time, about mid-November.
And then come July 1, Lance Bennings will be the new district grant chair.
All right.
This is Jay. That was very, very informative, Jane. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Jay and Jean, for your presentations. Just to reiterate what Jay said, they both were very informative, and I hope they help those president-elects who are on, help you gain a little more information instead of throwing it all at you at PETS. So kind of gives you a little head start, and some of it will be touched on again at PETS as well. So if you start thinking some questions, and you can ask them at PETS by the different presenters there, and it'll be different people as well. I did want to point out to those of you on that some upcoming things. As you all know, you have, well, the first thing I'll talk about with, oh, Jean might have wanted to add this. February 23rd, DACdb is doing a webinar on the grants module as well. And DACdb does a number of these webinars. And so you can go to the calendar and find out information on this module, grants module training. And I believe, let's see, it's at 4 o'clock Mountain Time. So I think that's what, 5 o'clock our time. So that's something you want more information on. Check that out.
I think it's 3 o'clock our time.
Is it 3?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes.
Link in the middle, I think it'll be.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There, right there. It starts at 3. So yeah, my apologies. And then y'all know about PETS. Y'all are registered. Thank you. Looking forward to it. I hope all of you are aware that your clubs are aware that RILA is coming up. The applications for RILA are due March 1st, so you have about another week to get those in. So please check with your clubs to see if they, if your current president is working on that, and it'll have a similar deadline next year. So kind of keep that on your plate, that's something to keep tabs on. And then wanted you all to know, save the date, April 22nd, Saturday, April 22nd in Searcy will be our club leadership training. And what that is for presidents, foundation chairs, secretary-elects, membership chairs, public image chairs. That's their opportunity. We'll all get together, and then they'll break off into groups with the respective district chair. So mark that on your calendar as an upcoming event. You'll be getting a calendar at PETS with all the events for the whole year, all the training events and so forth. So I just wanted to bring those things to your attention, and I encourage you to always be looking at the calendar to see what pops up or what's going on. We're working on the summer seminars right now, just confirming the dates. So as soon as we have those, I'll put those on there. So anyway, the point is, keep looking at the calendar to find out what's going on, because you'll see stuff that the district's doing, stuff that the zone is doing up here. I encourage those of you who have a heart for membership and leadership to attend the Zone 3031 Membership Growth Seminar. I attended that, I believe it was the year before I actually became president, and it's a very good seminar. And the closest one for us, they have them in 4 different locations, is in St. Louis. So zone information's on there, as well as Rotary International information on there. So I encourage you to keep tabs on that. So thank you all very much for being a part of this, and hope you all have a great evening, and we'll see you in March.